Welcome to the Million Dollar Multi-Op Podcast. Here, you're going to find education, entertainment, and a little inspiration on how to get to the next level. Are you a DJ company owner that's looking for the secret sauce? Congrats, you found it.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Million Dollar Multi-Op Podcast. I'm your host, David Osborne with BlueprintLearn.com, and on today's podcast, we have Nicole Nell, or if you're in the DJ scene, DJ Nikki Nell from Springfield, Massachusetts, owner of Visual Sounds Productions. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you so much, David, for having me. Oh, yes, thank you guys so much. Really looking forward to being on this podcast. I love this platform. This, your vision for this is definitely much needed in the industry.
Thank you. I think it was like a, see a need, fill a need.
Yep.
There's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of podcasts about DJing. There's a lot of podcasts about business, but there's very few podcasts about the business of DJing. So I thought it was a great a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So I thought it'd be a great one to start. So and of course it's really cool because I get to have awesome conversations with people like you.
Love it. Vice versa.
Heck yeah. It's a cool platform. It's gotten me to be able to speak to a lot of really cool people. And I think today will be no different. So I've known about you for a while now. I think last year, 2023, I was in the takeover at MEX, and then I remember sticking around. And the first time, I think I spoke to you backstage for a second. I was like, "Hey, I'm David," and then you closed the party down, and you closed the party down. I remember I've been like, "Whoa, okay." There's a lot of people in these things, and you see people in all these takeovers and spinoffs around the country, and some good, some great, some not great. But I was very impressed. So that was the first time I heard about you. And then fast forward like a year later, our mutual friend Jeremy Breck was talking you up. So, you keep coming back around. So I also know about your business, but I didn't know about your business. I knew about Brandon Ragoza.
Yep.
And then I didn't realize you were connected until just a few months ago. So with all that set up, tell listeners about your business.
Okay. So I own Visual Sound Productions Incorporated. It's now a multi-op within three divisions. Four. Three divisions.
That's an Easter egg if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, that's great. I swear I'm smart. I can do math. So I just recently divided the company into four divisions where we do full service weddings, we do multimedia production, and we do audiovisual production, as well as a talent agency portion of it all.
Whoa, that sounds like you're busy.
Yeah, we do a lot.
That's really cool. And so talk me through the, the journey from being someone who's creating a lot of buzz in an industry as a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think a lot of us have more DJs that work for us, but I think what's really interesting for this conversation, I think, is that those extra divisions that there's opportunity that's laying around you in Springfield or nearby. How did you know? Well, no, let me back up a step. How did you get started with things like AV or production, or how'd you find yourself in that situation?
Unintentionally, honestly. Even starting into the industry, I never knew that I wanted to DJ. I was a dance choreographer before, ended up getting into DJing, and I kept having people ask me for things, and then it slowly just started to, snowball effect, I guess you can say. And I kind of had this mantra, like, if somebody asked you for something, 3 times, on the third time, you should probably buy it and just say, yeah, I can offer it. And then just, buy it and figure it out. Right. So that's kind of how everything slowly started to happen. I started the company as just a solo op DJ in 2011, and then I rebranded the company in 2017. So I was Infinite Entertainment, then rebranded it to Visual Sound Productions, because I started to see a shift into where I wanted the businest to go. First, it started off as a side hustle, and then I'm like, okay, like this is really something, and I'm starting to create something that's bigger than myself. So I always wanted to kind of combine both of my worlds between, dance choreography and DJing, and production was the way to kind of bridge that gap. And I really saw a niche in the industry where, we do a lot of dance competitions and a lot of dance recitals. And it was just regular lighting and, you just play the music and the kids perform. But then I thought, like, how can we there's ways to elevate this and make this a grander experience and to add
Mm.
the different lighting element designs to it. And that's when I really started getting big into, DMX software and programming all the light shows. So then I'm like, okay, I know I can really do something with this. So then it just kind of started taking off with us doing custom light shows for dance competitions and dance recitals. And now we go on tour with dance competitions and we're gone for like 3 months at a time. So that's kind of like how like my ideas started to spark, like how can we integrate all the things that I do with DJing and creating those experiences, and how can I put that into other other types of events.
Yeah. You remind me of Jonathan Simmons, because he always says, I just say yes and I figure it out later.
Oh,
And
percent.
but when I'm listening to you talk and you're talking about, you were a dancer, that was first, then you were a DJ for dancers, and then that spidered out from there, and then you were lighting for dancers. So like what I'm hearing you say is that you're finding more ways to serve the same community.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us do that in the wedding world anyways.
Mhm.
Like, hey, I'm a DJ. Oh, we could do a photo booth at this wedding. Oh, we could do lighting at this wedding. But you're saying, hey, I didn't start as a wedding DJ. I started with this thing that I loved.
Yep.
And I'm just finding other ways to support this community I love. I'm just saying yes and figuring it out along the way. And as we're growing, the demand is growing and we're growing. So buckle up, Buttercup. Let's go.
Yeah, and now I kind of started this trend in the dance competition world where other competitions and other people are seeing it, and it's amazing to see how much the dance industry has elevated from, over like the past like 5 6 years, where now it's almost become like a standard. And I love that that trend kind of started to pick up, because there's so much there's so much more that can be done to the production for the dancers, and especially if a lot of them are starting to want to go on to be professional dancers in Broadway and everything, they're going to be exposed to all of that. So to me it was like a great way to kind of bring them into it as well, and then just give it an overall feel, like when you're on stage and like you could actually, like before when they were on stage, like you would just have monitors that were facing the audience. I know when I was practicing in the studio, I wanted to feel the music, and I would have the speakers towards me, and even just us doing stage monitors. I can't tell you how many kids come back and say, wow, like, they're just into it so much more. Like there's just something about feeling the music. And then when you have the lights, like we color match all of our lighting to the dancers' costumes. So the second they go on stage, the whole lights just transform into them, and it just becomes a whole showpiece. And it's really and it's also an experience for the audience as well. I mean, those poor parents, they're there all damn weekend, and at least it makes it a little bit more exciting, especially when they have the kids or they're dragging their husband. Now it's almost become like a show. And then I also,
Yeah.
I DJ the awards ceremony, I'll DJ the breaks. We just keep it exciting and keep it engaging, and it's about bringing our VSP experience that we're known for in the wedding industry and the private events to something like dance competitions. And this can be on any platforms. If people are starting to like, oh my God, wait, you can do this for cheerleading competitions. You could do this for schools. There's so much that you can apply what we're already do to other industries. And it's a perfect way to kind of break into it.
Yes, I think a couple like connection points here. First is the idea of saying like you already do it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that are budding into production, and I would put my own company in this bucket too. It's
Yeah.
what you already have. It's the lighting you already have. It's the speakers you already have. It's the know-how you already have. Again, serving the same community. You said something that was really cool, because I don't know if you know this, but from 2004 to 2017, I taught general elementary school music. I was a teacher.
Yep.
And we used to do shows all the time. And I think it was kind of like you with when you're talking about these dance competitions, the norm is, hey, kids get up on stage and they sing some songs and the family's fairly bored and like, there's my baby. And, they take a picture of the one kid and you're like, well, you got to be in this room for 40 minutes to watch this show. Why don't we make it entertaining as heck? And
Mm-hmm.
you actually want to come back.
Exactly.
So we would put DMX lighting in our shows for third graders and, all these crazy things. But I have a nerd question about lighting,
Sure.
which is a little bit outside the scope of our podcast, but I just got to know, when you're DMXing your lighting for the dance shows, are you baking in the DMX shows or are you live controlling it?
So we do two different ways. So for dance competitions, because those are like 3-week long events and we don't, sometimes numbers come in last minute. It's hard to predict certain things. So what I do is I have, I DMX everything and I have pre-made scenes as far as colors go. So I have like neon colors, pastel colors, and basic colors. So the second a dancer walks on stage, we can identify what color their costume is, and then we change the move. We don't do anything crazy with the competitions. But when it comes to dance recitals, we go all out. I have them give us 2 months before. Because the dance recitals, those are the showcases, right? Those are more of like, the production part of it. So what we'll do is we'll have them send us all their songs, and we will program specific light shows to each individual song where everything's changing, to the beat of the music. We have them tell us what their costume colors are. We have us tell us what type of tone they want to set, do different strobes. We have the moving heads going. So it's definitely a custom light show. So we have 2 different types. So it's a dance competition that's a little bit more standard, and then the more custom with the dance recital, more controlled environment.
Okay. So you're doing some real work here.
Oh yeah.
All the listeners out there, I think the thing to really understand here is it's all the things that are not the big events that you're getting paid for that make the difference for how you learn these extra little skills. To learn theatrical lighting, to learn, weddings or mitzvahs, those things are shows. They are performance, they're theater, and they just have all the different cast in them. And I think when we are scaling talent and bringing people on and training people, we can teach people all the tech in the world. We can teach people all these different skills, but to really understand the big picture that everything is just theater and everything is a show and you have a role in that show is one of the biggest pieces of education that any young or aspiring entertainer or even tech can walk away with, I think, because it's when you start to understand your role in the bigger part, it all starts to gel.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. That's why I love it when, and I'm almost even thinking about just doing only my dance floor lighting for weddings, like just intelligent lights, because of the theatrical moments that you can do with them and program them with the spotlights and the different, textured lighting on the ceiling. And then even just during the dance time, not even just putting them on sound active mode. I always bring a lighting technician with me, even at weddings. Like I'm so extra with everything that we do. But that's just part of our brand and what people kind of expect from us. And if they're doing, it's the more practice you have, especially with LD and doing everything live, the better you're going to be. And especially in other, situations.
I couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good transition point, because something I wanted to really talk to you about today was the divisions you have in your company.
Yep.
And so when you talk about, hey, I've got a LD that's at everyone, that means lighting director, you got an LD at your events, or you've got a show. Who's getting to be in charge of these divisions? Are they people that have worked for you for a while and you've groomed, or are you going outside and finding new people to be part of these divisions? Because it's a pretty big undertaking to bring to put people in charge of divisions in a company.
Yes, it is. This is something new that I did. It's actually something that I did last year. Because let me tell you why I created the divisions first, because I think that's super important, especially when people are multi-ops. We started to become to a point, especially after COVID, that we were just doing too many things. And it came to a point where I almost felt, I was looking at our Instagram one day and I was like, I feel like we almost have no focus. And we almost appear as if we're not the experts anymore because we do so many things. I felt like we were looking like a jack of all trade, master of none, just by looking at our Instagram, because it was so all over the place. It came to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to focus. I need to rebrand. The divisions are starting to become so much where they can almost become their own entities in that sense. So I have the corporation and it's still all under one corporation, but I subdivided it so there's focus, and we have all staff that has their expertise in that division. Okay. So pretty much when everybody books a wedding, I'm the wedding division person. Like weddings are my thing. I'm great at other things as well, but that is my strength. So when they come to weddings, they know they're dealing with me directly. Then we have our multimedia. I have my director. Everybody who is a director or in some type of leadership role in my company, they have to literally deal with me for at least a year, working with me side by side, going through how I would handle certain things, still developing processes. Because I feel like every time I feel like I have certain processes down and I'm like, okay, there's no other incidences that we would ever have to inquire about. Well, guess what? Life just smacks you over the head and says, guess what, bitch? You ain't done.
It never ends.
It
Ever
never
ends.
ends. It never
It's
ends.
never
Oh
ending.
my God.
Because as soon as you get it done, there's more to do because you're going to keep growing and there's more things. Or I always say that there's always someone in your team or on your team that exposes new things that have to be learned. Because you're
Yeah.
like, every current person's got this down. Then someone new comes on and you're like, man, this new person just exposed a weakness in the thing that I built. So the work is never done. And so,
Yep.
okay, you said you have wedding division,
Yep.
multimedia,
Yep.
talent, and AV.
And AV. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm currently, unfortunately, right now, the director of 3 of the divisions at the moment. We just hired new people. The problem is that to be the director, you also got to take care of the responsibilities. You have to take care of the sales, the scheduling, being on site. And right now, everybody who I have, their strength, their strengths aren't everything. And right now, I'm only playing to their strengths. So at the moment, I'm taking care of all the back end stuff. But I did just hire an administrative assistant to help me with all of that. So I'm in the process of training people to take care of those other roles so that way I don't have to do it. I've been through a few other staff members who are no longer with us that were supposed to fulfill those roles. It didn't work out. So again, it kind of falls back on you being the business owner. Like, okay, it didn't work out. You just got to keep it going. So I'm hoping that this next round is it.
Wait, you said something that I really like though. Things happen, life happens. You're going to lose a director, whatever's going to happen. But
Yep.
the thing that you've done is you've cast a really strong vision of what you want your company to be. And even though any startup, so if you started a new company today that sold widgets, you'd wear all the hats in that company, every single one of them. And then as you go on, you can give them away. But like currently, yeah, you have 4 division hats, and 3 of them are yours. But you're ready to give the other one away when you find the right person.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that vision casting is crucial, and you're already doing that, which is really smart. And you're building processes, which is really smart. And it's just a matter of like, it's finding the right people and executing and getting the right people in the right seats.
Yep, absolutely. And it's just one of those things where I really genuinely want to be able to set it and forget it. And I know proof of concept is proven with my multimedia director. The relationship that we have is perfect for what he needs and what I need. So I want to be able to duplicate that, in the other division. So it's just figuring everything out. And I'm slowly starting to introduce other responsibilities to other people to just slowly start to take things off of my plate. So you just got to kind of you just have to start implementing things and just figure out what works and what doesn't. So, and it really is very custom to whoever the person is and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and just making sure. Sometimes you don't know until you're in that situation. So
sometimes you don't know.
You don't.
I saw this quote. It said, and I feel this deeply, like in my soul, and I hear my wife's voice saying things like this to me all the time. But it's no one has it figured out.
Yep.
Even the people with the degrees, even the people that are in leadership positions, no one's got it all figured out.
No.
But there are people out there that are failing often and loudly and with confidence.
Yep,
and like improving, and I'm like, yeah, because I think a lot of times we feel like, oh, this person on Instagram or that person or this person's got everything figured out. And that's never the case. So what I applaud you in is that, like I just said, your vision is so strong and you are busting ass, like making this happen. you like it's that hustle, and that's the same thing that
you got to put in the grind. Like
yeah.
literally what you put into is what you're always going to get out 10 times 10. Like I'm like the living proof of it. And I'm cool right now with doing what I have to do. I know the business is running great. Yes. Am I tired and maybe overworked? And is my DJ career on a pause? Yes. But I know that once everything is good to go, I'll finally get that well-oiled machine. And I know what I need to do to get it. It's just been tough for me to make it happen just due to staff. I think that's been my biggest hurdle as a business owner.
Every day I'm hustling.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so we touched on this a few times. There's a previous solo cast that I did that said it's the five elements of a scalable business. So I'm going to just kind of read the title of all five, and then what I want you to do is I want you to talk to the one that you feel you've been most successful with, or that you've at least put the most work into. And I know we just touched on some of these. So number one is operational independence. So that's your business running smoothly without your constant intervention. Number two would be, what's that?
Weakness.
Number two would be an empowered team. So the team members understand their roles. Three would be your technology integration. So systems and processes and things that are, I'm going to give Eric Massengale a shout out, stuff like automate your DJ EP, things like Calendly, things like that. Four would be brand recognition and quality. Like, is your brand and business known for consistent quality? And then five would be vision and well-being. Like, do you have a clear vision for the long-term success of the business? So those are kind of the five things. Which one of that do you think is like, whoa, I feel like I got that one good?
Definitely. First of all, those are all great, and they really are the pillars for success. Like 100%, 100%. And it's funny because as you're naming them, I'm like, okay, that's a strength of mine, and then that's like a weakness of mine. So it's just getting all five down. But I'd say hands down, the one that stuck out to me the most is the brand recognition in the quality. Literally, one of my mantras for VSP is don't do a great job, do the best job. That literally instilled in all of my employees. They know what's expected of them. And also that, that resonates with the client as well and their experience. We have something that we call the VSP experience. It's just one of those things where it's like, we're not just there for that one day for them. Like I guess that's what people don't get. Like, we're not just there for that one day. From the second you make that phone call or that email or that connection, we are going to be your full resource. You have literally all of me, all of VSP, all of, what we can offer you. And if we can't offer you, we have the resources to get you to where you want to be. So it just starts with that first initial like client relation, setting the vibe, understanding what's expected of us. And then the day of, like, forget about it. Delivery and over delivery is what we do. We're always surprising, our clients with like little extra bells and whistles if we have them. Like, why not? Like, I feel like in relationships, whether it's business or personal, like, always give like 51%. Like, always give a little bit more, because that's really going to resonate with those people, and that gives you in the driver's seat. Like, they're going to remember that. And if you ever need anything from them, you always have that one leg up. But I feel like our VSP experience is what led us to our success. And it's about the passion and the love of the business. And that really transpires, you're having a good time and you're enjoying what you're doing, and, it transcends all over the room. And if you're creating a whole experience and have full control of the environment, not just with the music, but with the lighting, sets a tone for any atmosphere and the other experiences that you can do, the activations and the enhancements and the special effects. And we have control of, all the videography too, and the photography. So just all those final products as well. And if you can just deal with one client and one vendor, I should say, that can fulfill all those things, and everybody has their expertise, it's like a win-win. Like, why would you ever go anywhere else? And then we like to continue the relationships afterwards too. Follow up, still follow each other on Instagram, still sharing our videos and pictures of that event, and it literally sells itself.
You got the level up. That's killer. I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming. I think you describing that one pillar that you do really well showcased your brand, like the way you talked about it, the way that you talked about all the different aspects of video and multimedia and videography and lighting. I see what I can see your vision just through that.
Yep. Thank
through
you.
that example. We distilled all things down to the two things that, like, what makes us special. And I would say there's two words: relationships and results. And I would say, listen, we just want to make sure that you know that we got you.
Yes.
And results, like when you see that little, when you see that recap on Instagram, that's going to be you in a week. Like, you just know it's going to happen. All the techie things that happen behind the scenes, that's what we love. We don't need you to love that. We're going to love that. You're just going to go out there and have a great time, but we're going to take care of all the connect sets, Lego bricks, all the things that make it happen.
Yep. And we never let them see us sweat, right? We make it look too easy. That's the thing.
We're going to smile while we're wondering what's going wrong with the lighting. No one's going to ever know because we're figuring that out on the back end.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I think one of my last questions here is, when you have multiple divisions, and you can even speak to where it is now, maybe where you want it to be if it's different in both places, but the talent that you have on your team now and the employees, is there a lot of cross-pollination? Are there people in this division working in that division and kind of all over the place? Talk about that.
I think it's so vital to have assets, whether it's equipment or staff, that are versatile across all departments. For the most part, like I said, everybody has their specialty, but it's always cross dividing. So for instance, like some of my wedding DJs, not only can I book them just for weddings, but they're also on, some of them are on the talent agency side, where I know that I can book them across the country and they could do corporate events, or they have like a really, really special, niche appearance or vibe that could be really good for somebody's event. And then even like with the multimedia, yes, they can do commercials, all my videographers, but they could also do wedding videos as well. So then I can cross-reference them in the wedding division. So literally it's like, just you have to analyze your business, and that's the best way to scale. Analyze what you already have, like figure out, okay, like what you have for assets, what you have for staff, what kind of value, that you can bring to them. And then also just, it's just seeing the potential in everything. But yes, and especially for them to be full-time, like these are literally their careers. And people need to remember too, when you're a multi-op, you need to give them things to do during the week. You can't just have somebody full-time working on the weekends. So it's about, again, utilizing them. So like my LD, for instance, he is amazing at lighting, and he's also amazing at Excel spreadsheets. I have him run all my reports and do everything. Listen, I'm gonna make your ass work during the week. I gotta utilize you, right?
Why does that check out that an LD would be great at spreadsheets? I feel like that I never thought of it that way, but that really makes a lot of sense.
It's a thing. And again, just, it's analyzing, figuring out what you have for, what each staff member has for their strength and how you can utilize them in other aspects. To me, it's so vital in order to keep your costs, down.
Oh my gosh. Right. And I think that is another great point. I think all the cool stuff in the world and all the divisions and all the talent and the multi-ops and all the cool stuff that we all want to share with everybody else matters. What is it? It's not how much it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Important to be, cha-ching is right. It's important to be profitable. It's important to be smart with your business and to be making the right decisions to make sure that your business is healthy and scalable and can not only just grow in 2024, but can be growing in 2034, 44, and just, off into the sunset. So, Nicole, this has been so awesome. I got to learn a lot more about you, and I think our listeners are going to love this episode. Tell everyone how they can find you.
Everything's actually at DJ Nicki Nell. So it's NICKINELL. You can find me on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and on Mixcloud. So you can check out that mix that he was talking about. You can check that out on there.
That's right, Mixcloud. And as always, we have some free resources on our website, blueprintlearn.com/resources. We were just talking about profitability. There's a profit calculator on there. So do check that one out. And thank you guys so much. And we'll see you on the next one.